I hope everyone is enjoying their lunch. My name is Nikki Anderson, and I'm the President and CEO of the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you today. Thank you. In addition to Emily's introductions, I'd also like to welcome Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor George Pradle, who is with us today. I'd also like to acknowledge and welcome Representative Grant Worley and Mayor Richard Irvin from Aurora, Mayor of Aurora. Thank you so much for being with us today. For those of you that support the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce through your membership, we thank you. If you are not a member, we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out to me or any of our staff members today. Be sure and grab your business cards and join us at our next signature event, which is Tee Up to Meet Up. Information was left on your chairs. This event is an unforgettable twist on a traditional speed networking event and will take place on Thursday, May 3rd, from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Top Golf in Naperville. Sponsorships are available, and again, that further information is at your on the flyer. You can visit naperville.net for more information. The Chamber would like to thank Navistar as our presenting sponsor for today's luncheon. And we would also like to thank BMO Harris for their continued support as today's event sponsor. Now please join me in welcoming IdaLynn Wenhold as she introduces the mayor.
My mayor, talking about my mayor, my mayor.
I'd like to introduce before the state of the city, the state of our mayor, Steve Chirico, who's pretty dependable and trustworthy. He won't accept less than what's best for our city. So we are all blessed. He's a gentleman and leader to whom kids really matter, and his actions speak truth. They are not merely chatter.
Not merely chatter, oh no.
And I'd like to introduce our mayor in just one other way. Have you met the Chiricos? They're amazing, we all say.
The Chiricos are amazing, you all say.
Blended family, so fine. 7 children, 1 is married. 3 grandchildren coming up. 3 more weddings, feeling harried.
The Chiricos are so
Yes, they share a special bond, and we see it each December when they wear those matching PJs. Check your Facebook, you'll remember. And the secret recipe we know that makes his life so sweet is one Julie Chirico. Yes, she makes his life complete.
She makes his life complete.
Together they're a duo, serving with their time and treasure, but there's still more to report. And yes, it is my pleasure to to share that our great mayor loves all creatures, great and small. Every Wednesday, he's got Cooper, who's the hit of City Hall. Yes, he's not as sweet and cuddly as Mayor Pradle used to be, but he's sure a classy mayor, standing strong for you and me.
He's a strong man for us. He's strong for us.
He's committed to our city, dedication truly rare, and there is no greater honor than to introduce our mayor.
My mayor, talking about my mayor, Steve Chirico. Good job, guys. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice job. Thank you. Oh, wow. That was great. Thank you. Let's have another round of applause for the Waubonsie Valley's Cloud 9 group. And thank you, IdaLynn, for your introduction. Your enthusiasm, humor, and grace is a model for all of us. You've been an important leader in Naperville's youth, and you've done it all with a smile. Thank you. And thank you all for being here today for my third State of the City address. Nikki Anderson and her staff at the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce put in countless hours to making this event a success. Let's give them a big round of applause. All of you know the value the Chamber brings to your business and to the region. I want to give a special welcome to new Chamber Board member Emily Ori. Her passion and commitment promises to take the Chamber to even greater heights. And a big thank you as well to NCTV's Liz Spencer and her staff for endless hours they've spent producing all the videos you'll see today. I also want to thank the Embassy Suites for hosting today's luncheon. Thank you. And I want to give a special thank you to Greg Bizzaro and his staff at Jaffe Events. They have generously donated their time for the last 3 years to provide audio services for this event. Thank you, gentlemen. My wife, Julie, has joined me here today, and I can't say enough about how her support helps me. Our entire family plays an important part in letting me serve Naperville. Julie, thanks for your love and your support. While Julie and my family are my partners at home, I have 8 partners at City Council who are just as dedicated to Naperville's future. While we have 8 very different personalities, our shared strength comes from our dedication to making the best decisions possible. Please stand when I call your name. Becky Anderson, Rebecca Boyd-Obarski, Judy Broadhead, Kevin Coyne, Patty Guston, Paul Hinterlong, John Crumman, and Dr. Benjamin White. Thank you all. It's no surprise Naperville is a leader in the region and in the state. Working with my counterparts helps us all prosper. We are honored to have, well, actually Jim could not make it, but Jim Durkin, the House Minority Leader, had been called out last minute, and so he was unable to make it today. But we are very supportive of Jim. He has worked hard to help us lead, and he has advocated in Springfield. I also want to mention Grant Worley, who has been just a great state representative for Naperville. And David Olson's out there as well. So thank you all for what you have done. I'd also like to acknowledge several other mayors we have in an audience. I'm privileged to call them colleagues and friends. From Joliet, we have Mayor Bob Odekirk. From Romeoville, Mayor John Noak. From Downers Grove, Mayor Martin Tully. From West Chicago, Mayor Ruben Pineda. And from Bolingbrook, Mayor Roger Clare. And from our neighboring city of Aurora, Mayor Richard Irvin. Thank you for being here. Today you'll hear a great deal about the past, present, and future. None of that is possible without our city staff who work day after day to keep Naperville running. City Manager Doug Krieger and Deputy City Manager Marcy Schatz lead a team of directors who mix inspiring ideas with the technical know-how. Together, they keep our city moving forward. Doug, Marcy, and directors, please stand to be recognized. Today is a day to reflect and to imagine. It's a chance to look back in celebration at the achievements of 2017 and to look ahead to our future. As mayor, I'm honored to play a part in where we've been and where we're going. So today, let's take a look back in our history. Think about the leaders who came before us. They had the audacity and the tenacity to plan a city not just for a moment in time, but for generations they would never know. They had the courage to take risks. They understood that out of those great risks would come great reward. Great communities just don't happen by accident. Careful planning, thoughtful decisions made Naperville the city it is today. We are who we are because we stand on the shoulders of giants. These are the men and women who are household names in Naperville. They are who we tell our children about when we see a street or building or park named after them. They are the local heroes who put we above me to create a community rooted in service through moments in time. They are notable names like Frank Slocum, who gave so generously of their time and talent to serve Naperville. Frank passed away. Thank you. Frank passed away last January, but his support for many Naperville organizations lives on. We're fortunate that each generation has taken the good work of our giants, like Frank, and built upon it. Let's take a look at some of the pivotal moments in our almost 200-year history. Now, don't forget, we've done a lot in that time, more than I can show you in a few minutes. So everyone's contribution is memorable, meaningful, and appreciated, even if you don't see it on the screen today. We have one of our community giants here with us today. Mayor Emeritus George Pradle is truly a living legend. When we think of Naperville, we think of him. Let's give him a big round of applause. So how do we propel ourselves to build on that legacy? How do we take what has been entrusted to us by those long gone and make it better? We must fight complacency and status quo all day, every day. We cannot allow ourselves to just stay the course. Nothing we saw in that video would have been possible if the leaders of yesterday decided that Naperville had reached its peak. When a city stands still, it's actually falling behind. Let me be clear. Naperville is a leader. We always have been. We always will be. It's simply who we are. But I do believe we need to recognize how easy it is to become complacent and perhaps a little too comfortable. Yesterday's success is truly the foundation of a vibrant tomorrow. Our residents are the foundation of our community. And our businesses are the great innovators that remind us to embrace change and thrive. Let's see how some of our businesses are adapting and growing every day to remain competitive.
And looking at the building blocks of Henry Ford or being part of a Fortune 5 company, I look at that and I look at my life. If I look back 20 years ago, I would have no idea I would be here today.
If you look at what was the greatest, company from 1900 to 2000, Bell Labs, AT&T, those are the giants that we leverage heavily.
My dad came to this country with $34 in his pocket as an engineering student.
Yeah.
His brother was working odd jobs. They founded their first store in 1974.
You're standing on their shoulders.
Yes. They laid a great foundation for us to build beautiful buildings, beautiful business.
3 Naperville companies who wouldn't have the success they do today without those who've come before them. Joe Chura took his business from the basement of his home to the Nichols Library to what it is today.
I would write my name on the board, and I would literally hold interviews in these little rooms, be on conference calls, walk around in shorts, and believe it or not, people accepted jobs back then.
Launch Digital Marketing and dealer Inspire have grown to a staff of more than 430 people, attracting many to come work in Naperville.
It turns out not everyone wants to work downtown Chicago.
Right.
So what better place than Naperville?
You got it.
Rather than being a small fish in a big pond there, we're a big fish in a smaller pond here. And we have the ability to get a really nice space like this and attract people that just are either sick of commuting, they don't have any desire to live in downtown Chicago, or they just want to start their career and they're not sure where life's going to take them.
Launch was recently sold to Cars.com, positioning the company to think even bigger when it comes to serving their business customers, which includes 17 automobile manufacturers.
I think it's up to us, tech innovators, to help them find solutions to help their customers, which in turn helps everyone here. What that means for Naperville is frankly, as we win, and we have been winning, we're going to create more jobs.
Also bringing more jobs to town, Nokia. The Finnish company acquired Alcatel-Lucent Technologies, relocating many of their Chicagoland employees to Naperville, bringing with them the next wave of the future to the consumer.
5G in general, I would say, is the next big thing. As people, create more and more data, demands, there's a cycle that requires you to build out the capacity for it. Right now, we're in the investment phase, where 5G is under development, but we expect 5G to actually be rolled out at the end of this year, and then it will be increasingly adopted over the next few years.
What was once the site of Bell Labs for more than 50 years is now home to Nokia's senior scientists who are working on the latest in small cell technology.
Typically when you make your cellular telephone call, there's these large base stations. Everybody's used to seeing these giant towers. What we do is take that technology and shrink it down into a small cell. You can hang it on a pole, side of the building. People don't even know they're there. They look like Wi-Fi access points, but they give you all the capability of these large base stations.
Nokia is paving the way of the future, taking cell data to the next level with 5G.
Things like self-driving cars. You can start talking about doing remote surgeries, robotic surgeries. You can only do that if you have this type of technology in place. So not only can you download videos on your phone super fast, There's a lot of new use cases, virtual reality, that people haven't even thought of yet.
And the best part is that this technology is being developed in Naperville.
Right.
It's awesome, which is just awesome. I mean, to think that that's going to be affecting lives and businesses throughout really the world, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is the largest Patel Brothers store in the country at 40,000 square feet.
In the grocery industry, the newest business to open its doors is the Indian grocer Patel Brothers.
Being that we're an Illinois-based company,
Right.
we needed to give an homage to both the founding brothers. So Naperville is.
Will this be a flagship store?
This is the flagship store.
The first Patel Brothers opened in Chicago in 1974, and the family-owned chain has expanded throughout the country ever since. Having a significant Indian population, Naperville was an obvious choice when it came to choosing another location.
Naperville has been on our target for about 3 or 4 years now, and it just so happened that this location became available. The Naperville city was very open to whatever changes we wanted to make, and the store was open within 9 months.
And it's a welcome addition for the greater population as well.
People are so excited about this. Everybody's like, I cannot wait to get in there. I mean, they're so excited. So
The comment that I got the most on a lot of Facebook feeds, oh, thank God that eyesore is gone.
no kidding. I mean, this was the poster child for empty buildings in Naperville.
Now filled with always fresh produce, wide aisles, and a bakery, this unique grocery store is a testament to the continued growth of the Patel family's business.
What we are is a great American success story. Two brothers coming over from a rural village in India, started off with a small store, and today there are 54 stores across the country.
No successful community is made up of just businesses or just residents. I've said it before, and it's worth mentioning again. A blend of both is essential for our success. Our businesses provide a significant portion of our tax base and the amenities that are required to make Naperville work. Residents visit those businesses and move to Naperville because of all the amenities we offer. Together, they make a city into a community. It's why last year Niche named us the second best city to live in. It's also why just 2 weeks ago Niche named Naperville the best city to raise a family in America. And it's why we made the 50 best cities to live list. Our city's foundation is made up of 4 policies, 4 ends policies. These tools govern our actions and evaluate our progress. Our first ends policy is financial stability. While we don't formally rank these policies in importance, I believe financial stability is the foundation for all success in the other categories. We define this stability as maintaining a AAA bond rating, which is the highest possible rating. For 22 years in a row, we have received that rating from Moody's and Standard & Poor's. We achieved this because we maintain a diverse tax base and because we implemented strong and strategic financial principles. And these principles are working. We are maintaining a structurally balanced budget. In fact, we have decreased this year's general fund budget despite increased pension cost and debt service. And we're on track to increase our cash reserves to 25% by the end of 2022, while reducing our debt by 25%. In fact, we've already reduced our debt by almost $20 million since 2014. And cash reserves are back up to around 21%, with a goal of $33 million by the end of 2022. That's good stuff. As a service organization, our costs are substantial. Personnel and benefits are a large part of this cost. Make no mistake, we have some of the hardest working employees around, and you'll meet a few of them later. But we also believe in serving as a model for leaner government. In 2017, our water utility, legal department, and clerk's office conducted internal reviews. This was to see if there was any if they were operating at the most efficient levels. Each review led to restructuring and efficiencies within those departments. Overall, we've reduced our personnel costs by $1.5 million. In fact, our staffing is at the lowest it's been since 1996. And we've saved over $1.6 million in health care costs since 2016. We know that containing our costs benefits you, our taxpayers. As a council, we must do our part to reduce the local property tax burden. And I'm proud that we're on track to abate $1.8 million back to the taxpayers this spring. When we do this, we will have reduced the city property tax rate yet again. Think about this. Right now, we have the lowest property tax rate that we've seen in 50 years. And we have the same number of employees now as we did in the mid-1990s. But we've increased the size and scope of our city considerably in the last 20 years. That means we're running a much larger city and providing top-notch services with essentially the same property tax rate and staffing that we had 2 decades ago. And that's just good government. And speaking of good government, we're proud to have like-minded financial leadership at the county level. For the 10th year in a row, DuPage County passed a budget with no property tax increase. Chairman Dan Cronin is a true model for lean and efficient government. Dan and board members Janice Anderson and Jim Healy, thank you for your leadership. And of course, I can't forget Will County. There are lots of exciting changes happening, like breaking ground on the new courthouse and opening their new public safety complex. We have Chuck Mayer and Suzanne Hart with us here today, and I'm thankful they represent our community so well. Regional relationships are important because Naperville's financial stability is dependent on the strength of the local and regional economy. Our economic development ends policy formalizes our commitment to bringing businesses to town and keeping them here. As a community that has reached build-out, reinventing the space we already have is critical. We've had tremendous success in this area. One goal was to find tenants for 2 of our larger empty spaces by December of 2019. I'm proud to say that we have met that goal 2 years ahead of time, and we've exceeded it. And this was a huge win for us. You can applaud on that. That's great. Never too many applauds. Last year, I mentioned how Shervon had moved into its new facility on Warrenville Road. And last April, we announced the long-vacant Menards building would become the Patel Brothers grocery store, which, as you saw, is now open for business. More recently, we announced the sale of another long-vacant space, the old Walmart building along Route 59. By late summer, it will be the Mall of India. Residents will have a grocery store, food court, learning center, and retail stores all in one place, and eventually a banquet hall will be added. And the mall will bring over 250 jobs to Naperville. We're also seeing smaller vacancies fill, like the building near 95th Street and Route 59 that will be the Aldi flagship grocery store come May. And the exciting project of reimagining 13 acres of city-owned land in our train district is moving along. The city partnered with Ryan Companies to gather community input on what would work best for this area. Small group and stakeholder meetings have been providing valuable feedback, and working groups and steering committees let the community be fully engaged as a vision and concept is created. In addition to reinventing spaces, we're also seeing businesses reinvest in Naperville. A great example is BP. They recently announced that they are consolidating their campus and reinvesting tens of millions of dollars into the remaining buildings. Not only does this show a continued commitment to Naperville, but it also provides an opportunity to enhance our research and our development corridor. Looking forward to that. And one of the most exciting developments that was recently announced is Citygate North. Naperville will now be home to DuPage County's largest multi-use sports complex, entertainment, and expo facility. Citygate North, yep. Citygate North will have space to seat 4,500 people and feature 2 regulation-size ice rinks. This is a huge deal, friends. I'm excited to see how this project progresses. A strong economy doesn't just bring businesses here. It also makes Naperville a place that people want to call home. Last year, we issued the highest number of building permits in 2 decades, 8,637. We have to go back all the way to 1998 to find a similar number. Our residential building permits were the highest they've been since 2008. And in 2017, we performed a record number of inspections, almost 35,000, beating our previous single-year record set in 2003. And like I mentioned earlier, we're doing this all with fewer employees due to internal efficiencies and innovation. And while there's a lot to be excited about coming up, we can say that 2017 was a success in development. Let's take a look. Christine Jeffries and her board of directors at the Naperville Development Partnership are a big part of why I can share all this good news. Christine and the NDP board, please stand. Let's give them a big round of applause for their outstanding work. We also look at economic development success as filling empty retail centers. A great example is the East Ogden Avenue corridor. I believe this area is primed for a new look and feel as Naperville's uptown district. Along with the NDP and Chamber, the city held an open house last fall to discuss the rebranding and reimagining of this area. I don't want to lose that momentum. It's an important entrance to our city, and it's long overdue for a facelift. But in the meantime, we are making progress. Andy's Frozen Custard opened its second Naperville location in this area last fall. And the vacant strip mall east of the Jewel is being reconstructed, which is great. That was a vacant building for 12 years. Closer to the border with Lyle, the Gerald Auto Group reinvested in their building, and Fair Oaks Ford property is under contract for future development. These are 2 critical parcels that will help create the Uptown brand. Ultimately, though, it will take partnerships to transform this area. After all, good government requires good partners. This is especially true when it comes to health and welfare of our community. Our police and fire personnel are second to none in achieving our third ENDS policy, which is public safety. Police Chief Bob Marshall and Fire Chief Mark Pagnitis run award-winning, world-class police and fire departments. In fact, in 2017, our fire department received its 5th consecutive accreditation. It also received the Heart Safe Community Award from the International Association of Fire Chiefs. This could not have happened without Chief Pagnitis and his dedication to consistent innovation in the fire service. Chief Pagnitis could not be here today, but let's give him a round of applause and his staff who is here. Thank you very much. Our police and fire departments work together alongside the community, the entire community, and they must. It's paying off as well. Niche named Niche named us the safest city in the country for 3 years running, and Homes.com named Naperville the safest city in America last year. Naperville is not entirely crime-free, but we believe a safer neighbor, to borrow a tagline from Chief Marshal's innovative public education campaign, comes when the community and public safety work hand in hand. That means everyone doing their part. The city has been pushing out more information so that people can be aware of what's going on in their neighborhoods. For example, we started using Neighbor Notify to send emails, text messages, and phone calls about large-scale public safety incidents. If we can make our residents more aware of crimes, then we can hopefully inspire them to change their behavior, which will reduce crime further. We know that this type of information may make people feel uncomfortable, but we hope it empowers them to make Naperville even safer. And people do want to know what's going on. Our online public safety incident map has had more than 71,000 views since it was launched in December of 2016. It's the most viewed interactive map on our website. Our crime rate in Naperville consistently ranks the lowest when we compare it to similar cities. And with your help, we can keep it that way. Chief Marshal, thank you for all your efforts. Please stand to be recognized. Relationships are critical to facing tough issues with courage and compassion and conviction. Drug addiction is a major public health issue in this country, and Naperville is proactively addressing it through partnerships and funding. Since 2012, the City Council has set aside $50,000 per year in social service grant money. This goes to fund programs that address suicide, drug abuse prevention. This was also well before this was making national news. Because we took ownership early on and invested in finding solutions, we're seeing positive results. The prescription drug Dropbox program receives some of these funds. It takes medications out of the hands of people who might abuse them by providing a safe, secure disposal sites at our police and fire departments. And it's been a success. Last year, almost 3,000 pounds of medication was collected. It's the most since the program began in 2014. Amazing. Great work. The Collaborative Youth Team also addresses challenges facing our youth. In 2017, this group launched the Crisis Text Line. This service is available to anyone who may be experiencing depression or bullying or anything where someone needs help. People can text REACHED to 741-741 and connect with a trained counselor all day, every day. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. We don't want these issues to live in the shadows of Naperville. Our public safety departments also are building a crisis intervention team. This will let them better address mental health-related service calls. We now have 34 police who are better prepared to de-escalate situations and connect people to services to help them. And our fire department has a goal of training 90% of its members in crisis intervention by 2019. This is a great example of our employees striving to do better. And it's not just our public safety personnel. It's the heart of who we are as a service organization. 2 years ago, the city named its 4 core values: people, respect, trust, and pride. Personally, I think these are human values, not just organizational values. Without people, respect, trust, and pride, we can't function as a society, much less a city. Every day, our employees live out these values to provide the best possible service. Let's meet some of the faces who work on the streets and behind the scenes to run Naperville.
Even if you don't think about them, they're in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day tasks every day. People to me means a good team. It means great coworkers. Great coworkers then leads to great service. Great service is what it's all about, to get out to the customers, to give them what they need. For me, I'm a line employee. I'm out in the field. Trust to me is my management, my supervisors knowing that they spent the time invested in me, that I know how to do my job.
Respect each other and the jobs that we have to do here, and it works very well. We have to trust that other people will know what their jobs are and that they will do it. And more times than not, that works very well. I work with a great team of people, and they're very excited about their job. They each bring their values and their knowledge every day. And even when things don't work out the way we had planned, it actually works out. There's always an opportunity in everything that we do.
To serve my community is to do my part and improve the quality of life. And I think the best way to do that is by following the core values. First of all, it's the people. It's not an accident that that's the first one on the list, but we need to take care of the people. We need to take care of our policemen and our firemen. We need to take care of our citizens and our external customers. Treat everyone with respect. Everyone brings value to the community, and to listen to their calls or their complaints or their concerns or when they're in need. You know, it may sound corny and cliche, but I do enjoy helping people, helping out officers, helping out citizens, and just being there.
Trust to me means that I can count on them, they can count on me, and that we're there for each other, that we're team players, that we can really work together and make it work. And I do take pride in making sure my job gets done correctly. I make sure that I follow through. And if I have to call the resident to let them know their bill has been corrected and the amount, or even emailing it to them, because it could take a few days for them to receive it. So I like to make sure it gets done correctly.
We have great employees. Our employees and these core values let us be a high-performing government, which is our fourth ENDS policy. We see data as critical to achieving success in this area. Our open data portal, launched last June, has been visited 29,000 times. We also know data helps us be more efficient. Our new enterprise resource planning system is helping us in this effort. When it's done in 2019, this system will make sharing information and data between departments easier. This will help us interact with the public more efficiently. And we love seeing our customers in person, but we know that it's not always convenient for them. Being a high-performing government means making it easier for people to do business with us. This means that businesses need to see openings, not obstacles, when working with the city. Last year, we streamlined our taxi cab licensing process from 6 months to 2. Looking ahead, we'll evaluate our liquor license renewal process, and we'll streamline how we handle solicitor applications. High-performing government also requires humility. It's knowing when we need to do better and implementing the right changes. We learned that lesson when it began to rain one week back in April of 2013. You may remember, we got a lot of rain in the downtown then. Some parts of Naperville even got more. In the Crest Creek area, there was a lot of flooding. We learned that we needed to upgrade our infrastructure. We made it a priority to fix what was needed fixing. And last October, when we received 8 inches of rain in one weekend, the dollars that we had invested then paid off. Instead of 100 sewer backups, we only had 2. And that's real results for our residents. Facing our challenges head on and striving to do better isn't anything new for Naperville. In 2018 will be no difference. We're going to build upon the challenges and successes of the past and continue moving Naperville forward for the next generation. We need to realize that our world and our workforce is changing. Millennials like to work very differently than many of us in this room. We need to offer the amenities and the infrastructure that keep us and help us retain our graduates and our young people. We want them to stay here so that we can capitalize on their immense talent and world-class education. That includes offering the downtown urban living experience that they crave. 119 on Main is helping meet that need. These apartments, which used to be filled with college students, have returned to the open market. They offer the amenities young professionals will expect. And we also expect to see new development opportunities on the empty land next to the Old Nichols Library and behind the Main Street Promenade. I have to thank Katie Wood and the Downtown Naperville Alliance for helping keeping our downtown so vibrant and fresh and attractive to all ages. Katie couldn't be here today, but I want to give her and her team a thank you. The Naperville J.C.'s Park that I announced from this stage 1 year ago today is becoming reality. This outdoor space will offer Wi-Fi, charging points, and a comfortable working environment. And it's all thanks to $500,000 in generous donations from private parties and the Naperville J.C.'s. We're in the process of moving plans through the commissions and to the City Council for approval soon, hopefully. The goal is to break ground sometime soon. The Naperville J.C.'s Park will be very visible, but we also need to look at things that are not so visible. Our past leaders made some very smart decisions when they started building out the infrastructure to support a fiber optics network. Although technology was more limited back then, they wanted to be prepared for the future. And that future is now. 5G communication and the Internet of Things have given us the potential to use that fiber network. This could help us provide the bandwidth for smart services and products that we use every day. Of course, we need to weigh the risks and benefits of this. Smart investments are just as important as smart services. This is a topic that requires a measured decision, which is why we hired an outside consultant to advise the city on how to best use these assets. All of this makes Naperville appealing to millennials. But we can't forget about the seniors who have called Naperville home for decades. As seniors age, their living choices may need to change. Bringing in senior-friendly housing developments is critical, and we will continue to focus on this. We also must consider how to provide the right infrastructure to support all of our residents, no matter what the age or stage of life they are in. Resources from the federal government or state government could go a long way in helping meet these needs. For every dollar we send to the state, only a small fraction comes back to us. We must change this. For example, as a council, we committed to increase spending on our road maintenance program over the next 4 years. It's the right decision because a robust roadway network literally lays the foundation for a thriving economy. And our residents have told us in citizen surveys that this is an area that needs improvement, needs attention. But we need to consider how we will obtain that funding, and recognizing outside sources as a potential solution is critical. And you can't forget to look inward as well. Collaboration, consolidation, and efficiency can help us meet our goals while being financially, fiscally responsible. The Council has directed our city staff to identify those cost-saving opportunities between the city, settlement, and library. We want to see where we can potentially share internal resources to reduce the cost burden to our taxpayers. And these aren't new concepts. We have a history of partnering with others, like when we jointly purchased our public safety radio system with Aurora. That partnership moved forward again when Aurora's public safety answering point merged with our emergency telephone system board. That's a mouthful. This agreement makes sense since we are each other's backup 911 service anyway. We envision even more savings and collaboration going forward. A good example is the potential to partner with Aurora on an enhanced 911 system upgrade. This would cost Naperville millions of dollars if we paid for it ourselves. And Our cities jointly received a $1.3 million FEMA grant that will allow us to better prepare against a coordinated terrorist attack. Good stuff. And speaking of consolidation, our fire department is exploring if it can consolidate its fire stations. Safety is our number one concern, of course. But we recognize that Naperville has reached build-out. So we need to ask ourselves the question if our stations are located in the best places, or if reconfiguring them could provide better service. We also moved forward with establishing an administrative hearing process. This would allow us to handle smaller violations like parking tickets or code violations in-house instead of at the county level. This has the potential of saving money and improve staff productivity, but most importantly, it will be more convenient for our customers, our residents. This is all exciting news. However, it's important to remember that working efficiently doesn't mean we stop growing. Let's take a minute to see what's on the horizon for 2018. Working more efficiently requires creativity. At the city, we draw inspiration and strength from our community partners and all that they bring to the table. We will soon say farewell to a leader who has been a champion for children since she became KidsMatter first executive director in 2001. IdaLynn Wenhold is the very definition of joy. Her enthusiasm for helping kids realize their potential has impacted not just this generation, but those to come. KidsMatter believes that we need to listen to what our kids are telling us. Their State of the Kids report released in January was eye-opening. Over 70% of Naperville 7th and 10th graders who took the survey said that they experienced stress from school, competition, and peers. And pressure from parents and pressure from themselves, and conflict with parents also contributes. This is a complicated subject, and there's no easy answer. But we must empower our kids and help them grow up healthy. KidsMatter is a leader in this effort, and the organization is moving forward in good hands. Kamala Martinez was named the KidsMatter new executive director, and I know she will take their mission to the next level. Congratulations, Kamala. And while I'm confident that Kamala and KidsMatter will continue providing resources to kids, parents, and families, no one can fully replace IdaLynn. Let's see what this exceptional woman has meant to Naperville.
I have never talked to a person who doesn't love IdaLynn. And it's that she exudes that acceptance and that empowerment. And she's fun.
I tell people about IdaLynn, if everyone led their life like IdaLynn, it'd be a better world. It'd be a better place. And she gives, and she works hard, and she never stops.
She came to us, I'll never forget, we met in Marianne Boasian's living room. She came to a meeting, and this girl had so much passion. We all knew that she was the one to lead this organization.
She's so good at inviting the best minds to become part of her team or committee, and then she encourages people so that everybody is their best self.
KidsMatter is engaging community support, like the volunteer fair, the job fair that KidsMatter supports. It's getting out and actually showing our community what kids can do.
IdaLynn is extremely creative. She understands that when you make a project really fun, it is a magnet and people want to participate in it. And so over the course of all these years that KidsMatter has been in operation and IdaLynn has been the leader, people know that if KidsMatter puts together an event or a project, we kind of want to check it out because there's such respect for the way KidsMatter does everything they do, and it's the excellence that IdaLynn brings to it.
IdaLynn, we were so lucky back in 1995 to have you come forth and give us your ideas. You told us your dreams and you told us the expectations you thought could happen with KidsMatter, and look at today.
IdaLynn, thank you for all you've done the past 17 years. I would say to stand up, but you're bawling right now, so you can stay seated. And speaking to helping our youth with the fundamentals, Harley Jones was chosen as the new 360 Youth Services CEO a few months ago. I look forward to seeing how 360 continues to provide critical resources like counseling, housing, and all the different services that they provide our youth. Harley, welcome. School Districts 203 and 204 are giving our children the skills and talent base that they need to be competitive. Today's students will work in careers with technology that we can't even imagine. Both districts do a phenomenal job are known across the country. In January, District 203 was named the best school district in America by the National Council for Home Safety and Security. And Neuqua Valley was named the National Blue Ribbon School for 2017. The city wants to do our part to help introduce students to real-world experiences as well. For the past 3 years, students intern with our Public Works, Communications, and Human Resource departments, and the feedback has been incredibly positive. Dan Bridges and Dr. Karen Sullivan, thank you for preparing our community's future giants. Nowhere is preparing for the future more evident than at North Central College. The opening and dedication of the long-anticipated Dr. Myron Wentz Science Center has added a state-of-the-art facility to our community. Dr. Troy Hammond recognizes that the work of preparing tomorrow's innovators starts right now. Thank you for your service, Dr. Hammond. In 2017, our library's mission to inform, inspire, and to imagine led them to being named a 5-star library for the 10th year in a row. Our library is one of only 13 nationwide to achieve this honor. The 95th Street Library also got a new look last year that included new furniture, technology spaces, and improved seating so that this heavily used building continues to serve Naperville's needs. I would like to thank Julie Rothenflew and the Library Board of Trustees for your leadership and making information accessible to everyone. And without good physical health, our community leaders couldn't serve as well as they do. Edward Hospital is at the forefront of medicine. That was evident when they were recognized as a Leapfrog Top General Hospital last year. This is one of the most competitive honors an American hospital can receive. Thank you to Mary Lou Mastro and Bill Kottman for continuing Edward's legacy of excellence. Our Park District, led by Ray McGurry and its Board of Commissioners, continues to set the standard in recreational excellence. The much-loved Fort Hill Activity Center won 2 awards from the American Public Works Association and the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association. And I'm very excited to see what the district envisions for their last large open parcel in southwest Naperville. Ray, thanks for all that you do. So much of this speech has been focused on history, and nowhere does history come to life like Naper Settlement. Their planned welcome center and exhibition space will eventually share the more recent stories of Naperville's success. We know this will help preserve our community's history for decades to come. Under Reina Tomeo-Calabrese's leadership, we saw attendance numbers at that settlement increase substantially last year, and this is a huge boost for our local economy. Reina, thank you for what you do. I've spoken quite a bit about past generations working together to create a community. Their decisions at the time may have seemed small, but looking back, we realize that we inherited a legacy. This is the case with the DuPage Children's Museum. In 2017, co-founder Louise Beam passed away at the age of 93. But her vision endures with the museum and her continued emphasis on early childhood education. And her first exhibit, Ramps and Rollers, is still part of the museum. Sarah Orleans and her board of directors and her Next Gen board are expanding on that vision. In fact, thanks to a recent grant, the museum will provide more access to STEAM fundamentals, which puts children on the path to success. Sarah, thank you for what you are doing. As mayor, I know that one person can't come up with every solution. We know that when we experience success, it's all of us working together. And it's not just people in former leadership positions. Our residents inspire a community of kindness. They are the giants to those they serve day in and day out. Before we conclude, I'd like to introduce you to some of your neighbors who are the role models to all of us.
I always tell Jolene how wonderful she is, and I always say what a blessing and a godsend she is. She's the neighborhood watch person. If you leave your garage open, she'll call you and tell you that your garage door is open, and she has done numerous things for my kids. Late arrival is on Wednesdays for the high school, and of course I was at work. The boys missed the bus. Who can I call? Jolene.
When I think of somebody who exemplifies involvement and volunteerism, Bernie was the first person that came to mind, of course. He does so much here, and we just experienced my son's bar mitzvah, and Bernie was his tutor and worked with him for a year, once a week for a year, meeting with just my 13-year-old in studying the prayers and learning how to sing them, learning how to chant Torah.
I find out that Lily has a lot of energy, has a lot of compassion, and she's extremely sociable. And she has used all this to serve others. What I really see in her life is her strong faith in God, and she also lived out a biblical principle that love thy neighbor as yourself.
As a Chinese American immigrant to this country, that we have experienced a lot of different kind of challenges, language, but still
the actual challenges shouldn't stop us from being American, which is American spirit. It's very much about serving and giving to others and making others' life more beautiful and more meaningful.
I nominated Mary Borland because she is an inspiration to everybody. Mary gives selfishly. Mary has been helping people in this community with special needs to bring joy into their life and camaraderie and fellowship by starting out in a very small group with her son and some moms with sons with also needs.
We started having dinners, and at the beginning we had maybe 15 young people would come for dinner, and then the word spread.
This has grown in 30 years to be anywhere from 30 to 60 people that she, if the food isn't provided, she will personally cook it and bring it in here herself.
She's worked with the teens to create the fire station tour where there was money donated to a local firehouse here, which was really great. And the kids got to see the fire trucks and see the whole thing, which was really cool. And blanket making for homeless and for Edward Hospital, and just, doing those extra little touches of care, and a blood drive. There's people out there doing good like Maura who don't expect any recognition and is not doing it for that. But there's people like me out there who are saying, hey, she's doing great things. Like, how do we show her the recognition that she deserves? So I so appreciate NCTV having that platform for neighbors to do that for each other.
Whether they are a CEO or a next-door neighbor, we owe it to those who came before us not to sit still. We must race forward and create a history worth celebrating by future generations. After all, the giants of tomorrow are sitting in front of us today. Here's my advice for all of our future leaders who are in this room. You can start leading right now. Don't wait for the right time or title, because the right time is not always evident, and the title is not a prerequisite for action. All of you have a choice every single day to determine the legacy you will leave behind. I ask you to consider just that. Who will tell your story? Will you be seen as a giant of today? Will you stand up to mentor and encourage the next generation of Naperville giants? I hope you will, because they're out there. Some are in this room today, and some work for you, and some are still learning in a classroom as we speak. It is our job to identify them, encourage them, and show them that their voice and vision matters. Remember, they need you, just as we will need them in decades to come. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for all your contributions to Naperville. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.